Hey guys, hope you're all doing well. In this video, I'm going to present to you a new Cob house design, and I'm going to show you step by step all the components that go into constructing this particular building. So just a little disclaimer, not everything is going in construction order, but I'll be showing you all the major pieces. So getting started here, you'll see it's quite a small floor plan. This is definitely a tiny house. And I did design it according to the Fibonacci numbers, so there's some nice proportion to the building, but it is a very small living space. I actually intend to use this as a initial dwelling place on my property, and then once this is constructed, then move on to a larger living space. So you'll see the foundation here, we're not actually going to be going beneath grade in this particular video. The below grade foundation has not been designed yet. It will be included later. So everything here is above ground. And you'll see also the floors in here. The floor actually would be installed much later in the process. But basically the first thing is we want to put in the foundation, and then from there we go up and we build our cob walls. So our cob walls here are 18 inches thick, and we have all of our window and door components, most importantly the sills and the lintels, and then we have the framing in here to attach our finished windows into. And I'll be making a video more on this framing later. Now the lintel, as you know, is a component that distributes the weight of the wall that's above this gap opening. And according to code, you would have the lintel extend a foot past the edge of the opening. So it's a foot over here and a foot over here. And that is the same for doors, except in this case, we don't have a lintel above this door because our bond beam is going to go right up here. So here we have the bond beam, which extends all the way around the top of the walls. And this bond beam actually replaces the need for a lintel in this particular case because these cob walls are only so high. Now from the bond beam, we want to attach what's called a top plate. And the top plate is bolted into the concrete of the bond beam, and I haven't shown the bolts here yet in the design, but you'll have J-bolts sticking up out of the concrete, and then a little washer and nut which tightens down and clamps this piece of lumber onto the bond beam. Now the important thing about the top plate is this is what's used to attach your roof to your walls. So actually in this particular case I have some timber frames set up before we install the rafters. Now in this case these timber frames are more for sort of a decorative aesthetic purpose. The only real function they hold in this design is they hold up the roof ridge beam. Now, you don't need to do it this way though. So don't think you have to do it like this, at least. I'm not going to get into all the roofing details here, but let's go ahead and add all the roof pieces, and I'll try to break it down a little bit for you. So now we have the roof on, and as you'll see, we have the rafters, which are these, I think they're 2x8s or 2x6s, and they attach up at the peak and rest on top of that ridge beam. Okay, and then on top of the rafters we have this OSB plywood here, and then there's some roofing felt on top of that, etc. I'm not going to go into all those details here, but basically it's the rafters, the OSB, the roofing felt, and then the finished roof tiles here. And you'll also see I have this nice strip line all along the edges here, and some roofing details. And then the soffits. The soffits are actually quite important, and I'll just kind of show you what those do. Now the soffit is going to let the air flow up through the roof, and it's going to flow between the rafters up to the peak of the roof and then out the top. So there's actually a gap at the top here, and it's able to flow out the top of the roof. Moving on here, we have the gable ends. We just plug up these ends here with some wood. And let's see if I can perhaps give you a better view here. Yeah. All right, so we've basically just kind of plugged up the ends by framing it out and putting plywood in between to cover it all up. All right, put some more detail, some shiplap on the exterior. Now we install a loft on the inside. This is just framed out. Pretty simple actually. And this is space for sleeping and increases the square footage of the interior usable space. Now the interior ceiling. Do all the finish work on the inside so it looks clean and nice. And this is a plastered ceiling, and I've plastered the inside gable ends as well. Now the next step is to install the windows and door. So I've got 2 windows, 1 door, and again these finished windows attach into those framings, which are embedded in the cob wall. Next step here is to install the interior framing. We have a couple little interior walls here separating the main room from the bathroom, and over here is a little utility opening which will be installed so we can get to electrical or plumbing that might be installed through this particular wall here. And let's see, now if we add some furniture, you can kind of see the space and its functionality. So we have the kitchen here, little mini kitchen, got the bathroom in here, we actually have a shower, toilet and sink in there. And over here we have a little washer dryer. So there's enough room left. You could put your desk here to do your work and your bed up here in the loft. And that's basically the necessities. So finishing up here, I've put some brick detailing on the exterior, and these are bricks that I make. They're architectural bricks, and you can do nice architectural brickwork with that for some aesthetic appeal. So I've put one of these columns on each corner. And so that's that. That is a tiny cob house designed according to Fibonacci numbers, has nice proportions, it's functional, it's low cost, and it's going to be a great dwelling place. Again, this is a tiny cob house that I'll be building as the first structure on my piece of property and using it as a living space for probably a year or so as I develop and build a larger structure. So we will be doing workshops constructing this building, and at least the cob walls portion. The rest of the stuff I'll probably do on my own, but I will be showing a lot of this in the classes, and then using this as a prototype to develop larger houses according to code and according to this type of structural design. We'll be doing larger structures according to those on the same property, doing workshops. So if you guys have any questions, if you have any feedback on the design, leave them in the comment section below. I'd love to read them, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And yeah, just let me know your thoughts, and I'll talk to you all soon in the next video.